Yeah, the wife unit's hiding over here in the corner.
Oh, that's cool. She's usually over the side somewhere.
So you actually went to the
All right.
Forgotten Angels camp out, didn't you, Tara?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I'm
And
jealous. I live too damn far away to go to that, so I wasn't able to go. But someday I'll make it.
you're about 3.5 days away on a bike.
Yeah, I'm forever away on a bike. It's okay though.
Yeah. And I did go live, so hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. This is Chasing Ghosts. My name is Tara Smith, and I have a bunch of guests in here for once. Because going to the mentioned there just before Forgotten Angels camp out, I ended up burning the rest of the rubber off of my rear tire. And I am in the market for a tire. And I am seeking the assistance of my friends and choosing a tire. And I'm also learning how to use technology, so please forgive me if I'm a little slow at moving this stuff around on the screen or where it goes. And
Are we all?
No.
Well, no, you got it figured. Why do you think I call you tech support? Because you always bail my ass out whenever I break shit. It's true, she does. I do.
I've seen it happen.
yeah, well, my youngest is 21 and he moved out. That was my tech genius, and he's not here, so they kind of do that. They grow up and they move
That's
out.
why you have to ride them to come around whenever you need them. Other times you're like, okay, skedaddle, but you got to be smooth about it.
Always have a backup plan.
Right. I'm clicking on the wrong screen. I'm still getting used to having more than one screen because I have a Chromebook and I have it hooked up to a TV so I can move things around.
I
I'm
got a
sitting
phone
here.
laptop right now, and I'm at pretty much my mental limit. Okay.
Right. I'm in that weird generation that some of us are real good, some of us aren't, and
I would like to have my computer hooked up to that room, like from the Matrix in the third one, where there's like all the TVs surrounding the guy, and he's got a million TVs. That's what I want.
Oh my
That's
god.
too much.
okay.
Oh, you mean the ADHD exhibition hall? Got it.
Yeah, the architect.
All right. Now,
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I couldn't remember his name.
the things I'm looking for in a tire, I am looking for a little better.
She's still got the factory scorchers on it, dang.
Yeah, I got the factory scorchers. I got this tire right here.
Yeah, that's OEM fitment tire, and the thing is, if you get right down to it, Harley buys those things on a contract price from Michelin, and they probably pay them like $40 a piece for them because they buy so many of them. So I mean, yeah, you can be assured that you're getting a top shelf, top tier tire.
Yeah, Michelin's
Right.
generally speaking, I'm sure that they make a bad tire, but I don't know what it would be. You know.
That was
Yeah, that one.
literally.
He's not wrong. Yeah.
I tell you what, if you're in an 18-wheeler in the snow, the Michelin XDN2s are the best tire that I've ever found. But that's for a semi. Motorcycle's a different story.
Motorcycle is the worst. The Scorcher 11s, terrible. 31s, anything Scorcher, they're terrible. You want to get rid of them as soon as possible, but you do want to get as much mileage out of them as you can, just like anyone else.
Yeah. Hey,
I think I got 8,700.
Honestly, that ain't a lot. I'll tell you right now, I am not a Shinko fanboy. I have shit talked, trash talked, talked down, and preached against Shinko tires for 10 plus years. And last summer, I was kind of in a jam because I just did the Harley wheel swap on my Roadstar, and me and the wife unit were fixing to go to Key West for our 25th anniversary.
Abducted.
And I needed tires, but the problem is the tires that I wanted were on back order, and they didn't have an ETA date. And you know me, I'm a cheap ass. So anyway, I got to talking with our rep from Western Power Sports, and Shinko had just put out their $9.99 long haul, and I thought, well, it's cheap enough. If I get 10, 12,000 miles out of a rear tire, so be it. This is a get me by. And these tires were real new to the market at the time, and he basically needed somebody to be a guinea pig for him because he didn't have any feedback from anybody yet. So he threw me a solid deal, hell of a price on them. I put them on the bike front and rear, and I'd give him a heads up every now and then whenever he'd make his rounds and come around and visit the shop and what have you, and give him some pros, cons, things that I'd noticed, just where he could have a little bit of info on them. And I'll be honest with you, the rear tire from that pair, when I pulled it off, I've got it sitting up by the counter at the shop where I can use it as a, hey, look at here, example tire. That tire's got 24,000 miles on it.
Not that one. The 999.
Yeah, it's Shinko 999. Now, the thing is, I checked. They have your front size. They don't currently have your rear size. But I was actually talking with our rep from Western Power Sports yesterday, and he said that Shinko is fixing to go, they're fixing to expand size availability and also, white wall, if that's your thing, on that 999, because they released it as kind of a soft release tire for the first year to see how it was going to sell and how it was going to do out in the real world before they pointed the money gun at it and pulled the trigger. Like I said, I got 24,000 out of the rear tire from that pair. I've still got that front tire on the front now, but honestly, I'm fixing to pull it off because it's starting to get cuffed up pretty good and it's starting to feel a little funky. But it's knocking on the door of 35,000 miles now. I can't bitch about that. Legit, I can't.
No. How do I show this picture and add one more person to the chat?
You should just be able to add the person to the chat.
Okay, I'm going to put my camera here for a second because I look like a midget.
I had a pair of...
there you are.
I had a pair of Shinkos on
right
my...
below you.
There.
I had a pair of Shinkos on my SV650. I forget what exactly they were, but I think they were their equivalent of racing slicks. And they wore out pretty quick because it's like a soft rubber, like in the middle and all around, but for a bike to do the twisties in Colorado, for a tire to do the twisties in Colorado, those Shinkos, while they only lasted like 4,000 or 5,000 miles, but they were pretty damn good while they lasted. I'm not always a fan of the sport touring, the touring bike tires because they've got the harder rubber in the middle, which gives you, at least while you're like braking or accelerating in a straight line, way less traction than the softer rubber does. But the fact that it has that dual rubber compound or whatever it is in the middle makes it last so much longer. So it's stupid not to get them almost, but you give up quite a bit.
See, that's my big bitch about the Shinko. They're grippy. I've never said they're not, and they do. Some of them do decently well in the rain. My gripe is they always go off quick and they don't have a whole lot of staying power just because of how soft they are. And to me, there's not a whole lot of value there, and it's a false economy. You're buying a cheap tire, but you're changing it twice as often. So, now that's the way that I look at it.
And what I've found, like calling Cycle Gear for prices on these tires, it seems like everything's about $100 more than what they're posted online.
Yep. Another one that you might want to take a look at, instead of Cycle Gear, look up AmericanMotoTire.com.
Okay, let me get my mouse where it goes.
Because that's all they do is tires. They don't do anything else. And, they've got the find your tire by your size thing at the top of the page. It's pretty straightforward and simple.
All right, what is it called?
AmericanMotoTire.com.
Hi, Joe. Hi, Shelby.
What's up, Doc?
If price is not a consideration or not a thing that you're worried about, I really like the Michelin. What is it called? They're the GP2s. Now that's more of like a sport bike tire. But that's what I know. I'm sorry. I'm a different kind of rider than the Harley people out there. Hi, Harley people. How's it going? I know we'll wave to you, but you don't wave back. It's fine. But those GP2s are.
I wave back.
I'm just giving you shit.
2 weeks ago, I would have said hello when you said Harley. But I can't say that no more.
I'll show the tire. Yeah, well, something Joe over there will get because you live Gulf Coast too, basically. Um, I live on the Gulf Coast. I live between Houston and Beaumont. And if you don't ride in the rain,
Don't ride.
Yeah, you know,
you're gonna
right.
miss out on a lot of riding. It's gonna rain on you. Usually you're debating like a 30-40% chance of rain, and you may get rain. You may get a downpour. You may watch the downpour like 5 miles away and never get a drop.
Yeah.
But I am wanting traction. I know I'd pulled these up before.
Night dragons are decent. They're just expensive for what they are.
Yeah, they're okay. They're not the most long lasting tire in that size range, but they're not horrible. Let me check something out here real quick.
Aren't they the same casing as the 888? Like I think they were made in like the same factory or something.
I've heard that, but I've never seen anything that absolutely proves it, beyond just hearsay. So, yeah, your mileage may vary.
Really, 88.
Seeing as how you were
The ME 8888. I'm fixing
All
to pull
dates.
one up. Oh, I'm sorry if I'm making you dizzy.
But on my bike, I got the Night Dragons on it, and this last Monday I noticed that the front tire inside the tread is starting to separate with 6,300 miles on it.
That ain't no good there, brother. Nope. You need to get that shit off.
Yeah, I went right
No, the
back to the
difference
house
with-
as soon as I noticed it.
Is there a warranty through tire companies that say hey 10,000 miles or something if anything goes wrong, or is that just on you?
Well, here's my problem
Well,
with that.
nobody's going to put like a mileage warranty on a motorcycle tire because motorcycle, but there's a big difference between, hey, I wore this thing out because I rode the shit out of it, and hey, this tire is coming apart and it's trying to kill me. Because whenever you've got a separation, or like if the tread cap is starting to delaminate from the carcass, that's a manufacturer's defect there. That's a whole different ballgame.
They had a problem with that on some of the Scorchers, and I believe they were replacing the tires. Harley was.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen that post, but you get a motorcycle or anything, you go on Facebook, whatever, you find the Facebook page for that motorcycle, or car, or truck, or whatever. And people were posting their tires because you see that little seam off over there to the left on the rear tire on the Scorchers, and apparently they were coming apart at the seam on some of them.
Dude, you're reminding me of okay. So my first bike, when I first started riding, I actually got a pair of Shinkos because I needed some tires, and I took them to the shop, and I had them throw the tires on, and I get my bike back, and it's wobbly as fuck, right? So I take it immediately back. I'm like, hey, the something's wrong. You guys put tires on my bike. It's wobbly, and they're like, oh, well, that's because you need new steering head bearings. So I'm like, I don't know shit about bikes, but I'll believe you. Go ahead and do it. Spend a couple $100, did that, get the bike back. It's wobbly as shit. I'm like, it's still wobbly. They're like, oh, it's because you need new wheel bearings. So, okay, I guess if I need new wheel bearings, so they put new wheel bearings on it. I get my bike back. It's wobbly as shit. And I'm just like, fuck you. I'm going somewhere else. I took it to a different shop. They looked at it for 5 fucking seconds. And they're like, oh, your front tire's out of round.
Yeah, unfortunately, you came across a part swapper and not a mechanic.
Yeah.
Technician.
Yeah. I was pretty upset.
Yeah.
I still
The
haven't been
word
back to that shop.
technician has a
Which is
very
unfortunate.
different
Like, they
meaning.
sell guns and silencers and ammo and motorcycles and gear. And it's the coolest fucking shop ever if they weren't jackasses.
Um,
I like the video Joe just did.
Second coolest shop. Sorry. Second coolest shop. Not bad.
well, let's
Yeah,
put it
where
this way. My neighbors know if they see my house on fire, please call the fire department. If they see my garage on fire, grab your fucking cat and run. Use your imagination.
yeah, I like how you were showing with the thread lock, not putting it up there where it was up at the top where it would get underneath, and it had kind of pushed everything out on your last video,
It's a 180.
like showing how that could happen.
I'm sorry, what was that, Tara? I didn't hear it.
Your last video where the plate had everything off angle, and it wasn't the rotor and
Gotcha.
stuff. It was that plate where it didn't flush, and the stuff had pushed it out, the thread sealant.
Yeah, actually, the head of that one bolt was protruding about 12, 13 thousandths up above the flat surface of the hub on that wheel. But man, it played hell with that rotor.
Well, this is the tire. Why does this thing keep coming up? I don't want to talk to the bot. Where is my mouse? Here's my mouse. This is the 888, or 888, that I was talking about. And from what I understand, it's going to have harder rubber than the Night Dragon and stuff on it.
Now, it is a harder compound tire, but Metzler manufactures the tread carcass of that tire with a lot of silica black in there. So even though it's physically firmer, it's grippier because it has the additional carbon content in that silica black. It's a stickier rubber, if you will. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. It's harder to where it's going to be more wear resistant, but it's still got good grip to it.
Okay, because that is an option I was looking at. Of course, my uncle's like, he's like, well, we always ran Avon or what have you, and they have Avon on here too.
Man, I'll be honest with you. I've kind of fallen out of love with Avon here in the past 5 years or so because the conglomerate that owns Cooper Automotive Tires, they purchased a controlling interest in Avon about 5-6 years ago. And Avon has been stagnant. They really haven't done any kind of development with new product or tried to improve anything. And a lot of their availability is kind of hit and miss because their production volume has gone down quite a bit, even before, the big bad bug showed up and everybody started blaming it on that. And they're still trying to fit into that top tier price point in the market, and it's just not a good value.
We can call it the sweet and sour sniffles. That's what.
What would,
What?
We can call it the sweet and sour sniffles. That's what it was.
I like that.
It's good.
I like
I hadn't
that.
heard that.
I think everyone here is of the same opinion on that. What would be the difference between this Metzler and the other one?
Well, the Cruise Tech is designed as more of a performance cruiser tire, whereas the 888 is more of a long distance, long haul touring tire. Now, between the two of them, you're going to get better mileage out of the 888. The flip side of that is you're probably going to notice a slightly rougher ride with the 888 because it's a heavier carcass tire. It's meant for long haul, heavy load, weight management, things like that. We'll circle back to that in a minute. Now, that Shinko that I was talking about, they don't currently show your size, which is a 180 60 16. What they do have, a 180 70 16. What they do have is they have a 170 70 16. So legitimately, you're talking a tire that is 10 millimeters narrower in its total overall width. So if you split the difference, it's 5 millimeters narrower on each side. That's not even the width of a pencil. And the weight rating is very close. Like all of your 180 70 16 tires, they're at a 77 load index. Now that Shinko as a 170 70, it's at a 75 load index. It's just slightly lower. But the fact that you're putting this on a Lowrider ST and not something like a Goldwing, which is commonplace for that size of tire, that gives you a little bit of wiggle room. So realistically, you could put that slightly smaller rear tire on there because they have the front tire in that 999. That's the actual correct size. That way, you can keep a mated pair of tires on there. Honestly, you're not going to be giving up anything in the way of corner traction because you're not going to run any tire out to the sidewall on your lowrider in the corners unless you try to do a track day with the thing at Laguna Seca, and even then, you ain't got enough suspension to make that fly. But
Driver's pegs.
I mean, honestly, if it were me, I would probably roll the dice on it just from the price point because having seen what those tires are capable of doing from a mileage standpoint. And also how they behave in the rain because, yeah, it rains like a cow pissing on a flat rock here in Tampa. You know, trust me, I'm rolling the dice with it every damn day. But
I'm on the other end of the swamp, basically.
Oh yeah,
yeah, you are.
I would feel comfortable making that jump. I mean, I would feel comfortable recommending that to a customer as an option.
Run it all day.
And the cool thing about a chat is I can re-listen for the number of the tire.
You should put some knobbies on that thing. Do they make knobbies in that size?
No,
I'm sure you could find something that would work.
the tires on my fat.
We had a guy that brought a CB750 into us a couple of years ago before we moved into the new building. We were still down in the old shop. You remember the one with the sidecar? Yeah. And this thing was done up like a scrambler. It had a GSXR inverted front end on it, longer shocks. It had GSXR wheels, and this crazy bastard had knobby trials type tires on this thing. And going down the highway at 70 mile an hour, it sounded like a fucking jet airplane. It was howling so damn bad.
I'm not saying it's practical, but it looks
loud.
cool.
It was.
Vibrating your fittings out.
Plus, you can go on dirt a little bit better, but it does look cool.
I'm going to look that tire size up in a second. I'm going to go through these that it's showing here on options. Just for
he was talking about is very minimal.
Yeah, that's...
that a lot. My parents, when I was growing up, we had our own tire shop, and we did tires from motorcycles to regular vehicles, all up to tractors. I mean, various fucking tires in between. And there's times where we didn't have the exact same tire, and one similar worked just the same.
We cut leaf springs in half.
If your tire's worn down like you're saying it is, though, and you put new tires on it, you will be amazed at the difference in how much better it feels going around. Yeah. Especially like tipping into a corner and stuff like that. Again, I don't ride the cruisers. I ride the sport bikes and other stuff too. But the difference in tires on a sport bike, especially when you go from like, hey, my back tire's getting kind of blocked off, you know, a little bit square, to a new tire. Oh my god, it's like 10 out of 10 different.
Well, I don't exactly ride slow, so
yeah, but you guys have all those straight roads out there.
Well, in Texas, you gotta know where to go if you want to hit some curves. Most of your main roads and stuff are pretty straight, but I can take you around here places where there's curves. You gotta know where they are for two reasons. Number one, some of them are too rough to take very fast, like the ones going to work are too rough. Your tires will come up off the ground. But there's a place north of me that's got some awesome curves. If you get out towards Austin, though, there's a lot better riding where you'll get more on the side of the tire.
There is, like, around Georgetown or Vernon or Bertram.
Lukenbach going straight up through there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I am spoiled with where I live. Is everywhere, pretty much everywhere, every direction but east has awesome roads.
I've heard a lot of people recommend the Dunlops. Like, that's all they run for some reason.
The whole Dunlop thing is fake. I mean, I look at it as institutional memory because Dunlop's the big fish in the pond there. You know, they're everywhere. They've been everything. You know.
It's kind of like cold or something. People go after the name.
The Dunlops are what I had put on the night rod before I donated it.
All right, hey Tara, check us out. That Shinko tire that I was talking to you about, on American AmericanMotorTire.com. The pair of them, front and rear, $280.
Cool.
I'm actually a
Tire.
big fan of Shinko's, in spite of the fact that they left me high and dry and gave me an out-of-round tire that gave me new head bearings and new steering bearings because of the shop.
$280.
Yeah,
I don't know how to
get it.
switch this thing. Hold on, let me. Somebody might have to walk me back through doing this because I have that one screen on here. And I'm not that old, I'm
So
only
you got- At the
47.
bottom of your screen, it says present. So you got to you have to hit stop sharing, and then hit
Stop
present
screen.
again, and then hit present
Wow,
again,
nice.
and it'll take you through it to pick which screen you want to share.
Share screen.
Yeah.
Y'all are teaching me how to use a computer.
Stupid
Yeah,
StreamYard's
right.
charging more money now. I'm about to switch services for my chats.
StreamYard, that was the name of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to remember. Oh.
Yeah, it used to be $10 a month. It's 35 now.
There you go. Okay. I use these guys a lot as a benchmark just to kind of, flesh things out and see what kind of price I got to match it to. So go up to the top where it says tire sizes. Yep, right there. All right, now scroll down and you will see the 16-inch tire sizes. Yep, click that. And then look for that 170, 70, 16. There you go, right there. And that Shinko is going to be the Shinko I'm talking about. It's going to be one of the first ones that pops up. I think it's the first one, actually. Yep, there you go. That SR 999. I mean, like I said,
How's the round feel on that?
huh?
The round, like when you're tipping in and stuff, and then when you're kind of cruising.
That's one thing that I was really impressed with because, like I said, I got Harley wheels swapped onto the Roadie, and
Mm-hmm.
the handling improved whenever I did the wheel swap because I went from a fat 16 to a kind of a low pro 19 on the front, but I went a lot wider in the back. And whenever I first did the wheel swap, I still had the factory Dunlops that came on the wheels, and it handled good. It rode okay and everything. And then I put the Shinkos on, and I noticed the turn in was a lot less effort. It was a lot quicker steering. It was a lot faster of a transition from like say you want to make a quick lane change. You didn't have to bulldog it near as much to get it to fall down into a corner. Damn bug crawling in my hair. But once you're over on the side of the tire in a corner, they hold the line really well. They're really predictable. Unless you get into some really, really rough road or something that's rain grooved really, really hard, they don't, hunt and wander. You don't get the slot car effect out of them, but they're awesome.
The washboard. I don't run gravel roads too much. We got some that washboard though.
I'm really glad that you're coming on here and singing the praises of Shinko because I thought I was going to be like the poor boy in the corner saying Shinkos and everyone was going to make fun of me.
Well, like I said, there's a caveat here because that's the only one. Unless you're talking something that's going on a Yamaha Vino scooter, then that's the only Shinko that I'm going to get behind on there because I've had my ass on one of them for 30,000+ miles now. And, I got to admit, I had to eat some crow on that because I was really, really impressed with it. They did good with that one.
We talk
I'm
shit
wa-
about Shinko all the time, but that's the one tire. I seen it. 30-something thousand miles. You still got it on there.
I mean,
I'm
I've definitely
wondering-
liked Shinkos before. Have you ever done the 80/20 big blocks? Sorry, I like the off-road stuff too, like dual sports.
No.
Shinko makes some 80/20 big blocks that are they're basically on-road knobbies that
Yeah, I know
when
what
you're
you're talking
when you're at speed, you can barely even tell you that you're on knobbies. And they give you too much damn confidence. You start going around corners all fast and shit on the road, and you're like, oh yeah, wait a minute, I'm on Shinkos and they're knobby.
Yeah, the thing is, man, we're here in Florida, dude. We're on a big ass sandbar, so there's not really much of what you'd call corners down here. I really miss living in Tennessee because we had some damn fun roads up there. Down here, it's slab and dodging all the blue hair and bony knuckle types that's in a giant 1977 Fleetwood Brougham that has no clue where they're driving, no clue where they're going, and they're trying to read a road map.
Someone called it the reverse dragon.
Yeah, we have to.
That
In
was me.
Colorado, we have to dodge the high people.
That was me. Remember, I said there's in Florida it's considered the reverse tail of the dragon because there's 11 curves and 318 miles.
Yeah.
Not much.
I mean, whenever you're looking at, like Google Maps on your phone, most of the shit you're going to see is a straight fucking line.
Yeah.
Although I could take you to some roads around here. You're just going to go 100 miles away.
Yeah, that's the downside.
Now this one I'd have to put on myself, huh?
No, you can buy them, and if you've got like a local shop that you trust, order them. They'll drop them off at your house, or better yet, talk to your local guy if you feel comfortable doing it with them. Say, hey, I'm ordering some tires in. Can I have them delivered here? That way you ain't got to tote them. And then that way you're saving the money on the tires. They're making the money on the labor for installing the tires. So it still works out, win-win on both sides of it.
I haven't changed tires in a
I've
while.
definitely taken the tires and then worn them like a belt and rode my motorcycle to the shop to be like, hey, could you put these on my bike? Like, take them off of me and put them on my bike.
That's going to be a big damn tire for me to do that.
I think everybody that rides a motorcycle for more than, say, 6 months has probably done that at one point in time in their life or another.
Yeah.
The only thing is with me, I can't pull off the whole Michelin Man look because I look like the Michelin Man on the daily. So, yeah.
We used to take leaf springs, cut them in half, weld them to pieces of pipe, and we used them for tire tools for changing tractor tires and stuff. That's what I was going to say earlier.
Big old sniper bar.
Oh, yeah.
Does your bike need tubes, Tara?
No.
That's good. Because that makes it a fucking extra pain in the ass.
What I'm wondering with the 10 millimeters, alright, I don't know if y'all know the deal with the saddlebags. Where, people say one looks off from the other and what have you, one's slightly smaller, and they kind of stick out. And of course, I got them sticking out just a little bit further because I added on the kit so I could put my luggage rack on there. So is that tire just being a little bit smaller? Is that going to look weird with the saddlebags?
Tara, to be totally honest with you, if you put that tire on there with it being 10 millimeters wider, once you ride that thing 50 miles and get a little bit of dirt on it, the only way you're ever going to notice any difference is if you break out a tape measure. That's it.
Nerd.
It's such a minute difference that you're literally never going to see it.
No one's ever going to know. They're going to know. No, they're not. And if they do,
Yeah, pretty much.
nerd.
Okay.
I mean, the thing is as far as going to a skinnier tire, it's not gonna drastically impact the way the bike is gonna handle. And in all honesty, you're gonna notice more of a change from, the fact that you're going from old wore out tires to new tires that are round and not squared off. You're gonna notice more of an impact from that than you ever will just from dropping 10 millimeters on the section width.
Yeah,
Okay.
new tire feels amazing compared to a worn out tire. Like again, when you put new tires on a bike, it's like, did I get a new bike? This feels like a completely different bike, almost.
Yeah, it's kind of like going from some blown out Walmart flip flops to a pair of Air Jordans.
A
What?
pair of shower
Why is this
slides
thing
that
all
you do.
blown up like that? How do I move it over?
Because you're
Yeah,
hold down
scroll over.
control and hit the wheel on your mouse. There you go.
Okay.
And
It's
pick a
still
different
kind of too
picture.
big.
Pick a different
Oh, there we
picture. Yeah, there you go.
All right, now keep that picture where it is. I want to pull up something on my phone here right quick to where I can give you some comparison here. Do. Now, you notice the load rating on that. It shows a load rating of 75 with a max weight of 852 pounds. Now, granted, these are manufacturer's load rating and manufacturer's guideline. They're not an absolute etched in stone rule. But for legal reasons, they got to put that stuff out there on paper. Now, if we look up the tire that your bike specs, the 180, and say we look up,
Okay.
did I pass it? Yeah, there it is. Okay, say we look up that Pirelli Night Dragon that you were looking at earlier. Now, it's rated as a 77 load index, and the max weight on that is 908 pounds. So you're talking the difference of 60 pounds there. In the grand scheme of things, that's a drop in the bucket.
That's whether you took a drop in the bucket or not today.
Yeah. Pretty much. But at the end of it all, like I said, you're talking such a minute change from what that bike specs to what that other tire is rated at that you're not going to notice any difference. You're not going to notice any difference in the ride. You're not going to notice any difference in the load carrying capacity or the stability of it. Now, on the new Harley baggers, like from 19 and up, when they went to the 18-inch rear wheel, we have seen a couple of those in the shop where somebody put a tire on the back that was load rated significantly lower than what the bike spec'd out at. Like they spec out an 81 load index, and people were putting a tire on there that had like a 74 load index, because they were the same size from Metzler, but it didn't have the weight rating. And those bikes, they would start to get a wiggle at about 70 mile an hour. The tail would wag the dog, so to speak, because of the carcass flex on that tire. But if you looked at the numbers on the tire, the load rating on what it's spec versus the load rating of the lightweight tire that they were putting on there, it was a difference of almost 200 pounds. So yeah, that's a significant change. But with that, it's nothing. You won't ever notice it.
Do you have any? Okay, I have a question. If you don't mind me asking, Tara, on your chat.
Fire away.
What's that?
On tires, though, we're going to stick on the subject of tires. Sport bike tires. Do you have any like any specific recommendations that you were like, this is the one that people run because of this or whatever? Do you have any preferences yourself? I know you guys don't ride these kinds of bikes, but maybe there.
I mean, it's going to depend on what kind of bike are you putting it on. What level of rider are you? Being honest with yourself. How are you planning on using this tire? Are you planning on doing track days with it, or are you using this in a commuting environment?
Well, they can't carbon on weekends, commuting during the day.
Well, I will answer all those questions. FZ6, mountain riding, not track riding, but maybe some canyon carving type riding, as well as a little bit of like commuting and stuff. But I just want something that's good and sticky, that's going to be good for leaning it over.
Kind of a do-all. Honestly,
4, 5.
Road 5, yeah, I can get on board with that. I'm not real happy with the Road 6 because it seems to me like the tread pattern on the Road 6 is really prone to cupping really badly, front and rear. And it's hard to keep that tire around no matter what you do. Another
kind of big bike like a Concourse.
Yeah. Another one that would be a good one to look at would be the Dunlop Road Smart 3, because it's not really marketed as a hardcore tire. It's a dual compound tire, as far as I know. I believe it's a dual compound tire, but
they are.
It's intended as more of a sport touring with an emphasis on mileage plus corner grip. So, I mean, you kind of
Which one is that you're saying right there?
Dunlop Road Smart 3.
The Road Smart.
What size is your tire?
Oh, I'd have to look
17 on the front. 180, 55, 15 on the back.
What do I need to click on here? I was going to look up his tire.
17.
Well, I mean, they're 17s, but they're 180, 55, 17.
Yeah, that's your rear.
And then
There you go.
120, 70, 17 is the front.
All right, what tire are we looking for here?
And I think that's what I have on there is the Continental Motions right there. And I don't like them. I don't
The
fucking like
Motion's
them.
not a bad tire.
It's too
I've
it's too
sold
hard.
a-
Like they're built too much for the touring, for like the longevity of the motorcycle. So like, okay, if I hit the brakes too hard, the back slides way too easy for me. I need something grippier.
Right. Well, the thing is, that may be a combination of how hard you're digging into the rear brake and also body positioning and just weight bias on the bike as well. Because one thing that especially if you're on one of the newer, higher end sport bikes, like say, 2015 or up ZX6, ZX10. I've seen BMW S1000s that do this. Ducatis are very well known for this. It seems like you've got to push real hard on the rear brake to make a noticeable difference in it. And there's a reason for that, because they designed the system like that to where you've got more forgiveness room to modulate the rear brake before you get to that lockup point.
What is
Yeah,
the tire?
Think not new and high end, more like old and mid grade. Like 'cause that's what
I was looking up that
Again,
tire he
your
mentioned.
stable of
I
bikes
don't know the
is-
name.
my entire
Hey, I'm
stable
old
of
school.
bikes
I
is less
run
than 2 grand.
CCTs.
Yeah, the Road Smart 4 is just kind of a refreshed version of the Road Smart 3. It's not going to be a bad one to go with.
Or actually,
What
no,
was the name of that tire?
the Road Attack 4 is what I've got on the rear. That's what it is.
Joe,
I know it's a Continental.
I'm sorry, what?
what was the name of that tire you mentioned for him?
Dunlop Road Smart. And I think that they're in the process of phasing out. Hey, Tara, real quick, scroll back up towards the top there.
There's a Road Smart right there.
Yeah, that's the Road Smart 4. Scroll back up towards the top, and over in that left-hand column where your filters are, you can click on where it will select just Dunlop, and that way you don't have to roll through 73 pages of stuff.
Okay.
There you go.
There's a Road Smart 4.
Joe, you're so patient
Yeah.
and nice. I like it. You're a good guy.
I'm off the clock, brother.
You will say that until you meet him in person.
Well, good.
As much running as around in the shop as I do, yeah, that Road Smart 3 that you're on right there, Tara. Yeah, I've got quite a few sets of those out in the wild right now, and everybody that I've put them on for, they love them because they're real predictable and they do good in the rain. The big thing is with the way the tread pattern is done on those, they're not real bad for chopping up the front tire, just from feathering and road crown, things like that, so they're pretty forgiving in that respect.
All right, cool. Road Smart 3. I got him pulled up over here.
But yeah, just for everybody that's out there, I use American Moto Tire as kind of a weather vane for the bottom dollar price that I've got to try to beat whenever I've got a customer that's tire shopping, because American Moto Tire, they stock nothing. They have no product in their building. They are strictly a drop shipper, and you buy a tire from them, you're literally buying it for maybe $5 to $10 above dealer cost. But the thing is, these guys do so much volume, they can make up for it and sell it that cheap because they're hands off. All they're doing is they're clicking a mouse saying, okay, we need to send this tire to this guy here, and boom. Everybody else does all the heavy lifting for them. That's why
So
they can keep their prices down as low as they can.
They're the Palmetto State Armory of tires.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm learning that now.
Yeah, PSA, CDNN Sports, Buds. We can go down the list here. I mean, I've got a dealer account with Mid-South Shooter Supply out of Clarksville, Tennessee, and there's a lot of times where I've seen PSA beat my dealer price from Mid-South by $100 on a $500 pistol.
Dude, PSA. Okay, I know we're talking about motorcycles and tires, but you got to get you one of them daggers, my friend.
Yeah, sorry, shiny object, squirrel moment.
If you don't have a dagger, they're not very expensive, and you can get one. And then you can get one that takes the red dot on top of it. Now you got a dagger with a red dot.
Man, I'm not pissing on anybody's parade there, but it's too much like a Glock, and I am not a Glock guy.
Well, it's
It's
exactly like a Glock, but it's way cheaper.
Yeah, but no. I mean, it don't work for me.
That's fine. You don't have to get one. You don't have to. I'm just saying, if you wanted to, and you
Yeah.
were a guy out there who was looking for something that goes pew, it's a good cheap option.
Thank you for
Y'all
showing me
know
this.
that, mate. I'm a huge Taurus fanboy.
Taurus?
Yeah, I want to get one of those the Taurus PT92. I want the
Yeah, well, the Taurus, you get the stainless finish. It's so much better than the other finish is not that good.
But I've had
Uh,
some in my life.
So in other words,
They're good
62
guns.
is a pistol. I've had one for a long time.
Is it Taurus?
I like the safety better
Is it
because they have
Sorry.
the original safety on there. They didn't go, because they had Beretta's old design and they kept the original safety, the thumb safety like the 1911s instead of going to the slide safety. And I like that way better because I'm so used to 1911s.
Bingo.
Is it a Taurus? Is it Taurus's or Taurus I?
Taurus says,
I do not know.
Is it a school of Taurus?
Oh, nice. Shit.
I do not know. Okay, so how do I get back to my tire? Let's see, mine.
so that's like
Thank you for showing me this site. Like I said earlier on, the nice thing about doing things, as long as we don't do anything that gets the chat shut down or what have you, is doing them live or what have you. Is somebody mentions something, you can go back and re-listen to it.
Right? Well, the thing with AMT is it's tires and that's it. You don't have air fresheners and bungee cords and yeah. So it's simple.
Oh. Okay, and the 170 versus the 180,
Ain't gonna matter.
it ain't gonna matter.
Like I said, yeah,
It's all in your head.
you literally will not feel a difference. Okay, as a hypothetical, if you took a tire from the same manufacturer, like the Metzler, for example, because they make both the 180 and the 170, if you took the 180, put it on the bike, rode the bike for 100 miles, then you put the 170 on there, ride the bike for 100 miles, literally you will not be able to feel or discern any difference in the way it rides, in the way it handles, anything like that. It's such a small, minute change that it's almost indiscernible.
I was kind of more just wondering the looks, like looking at it. It was just like, that's good. Is it gonna look weird, kind of thing? Never gonna know.
You're never going to notice it. And we get that all the time, even when we're replacing a tire with, the same size tire. We have people constantly be like, that tire looks a lot skinnier. It's not. It's just, it's clean.
It's not broken yet.
Funk on it.
Yeah, rubber softens up. Okay, there's a Metzler Acoustastic. There's the Avons. Pretty popular tread pattern.
Hey, Terry.
Okay.
I gotta go pick up my son. I gotta head out. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's cool. Thank you for hopping in.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. And Nice talking to you guys. Joe, I'll be in your chat sometime. Look out for E Honda 420. That's me.
Will do, brother. Look forward to seeing you, man.
Yep. You guys
Oh,
have a
that's
good one.
you?
Okay.
That's you.
Yep, that's me. I am the E Honda 420. I've been
See,
on
man.
Shade Trees chats.
Oh
for,
yeah, absolutely.
years,
I've,
bro.
I've seen you in his chats, man. Nice to talk to you.
Yeah, that is. Who are you in there?
I'm
There you
Buck Brown.
Well, we'll be around Monday
All right.
night, man.
I'll
I
keep an eye
mean,
out
we're
for
going
you,
to do
brother.
something even if it's wrong.
What's that? I'm
I
saying.
was the
I
one
said
you
we're going to
were-
do something Monday night even if it's wrong.
Sorry, what?
All right. Well, we're doing a timing chain on in a fucking ball joint on Monday night, but maybe I'll put it on in the garage while we're working.
Cool.
That worked.
All right, later,
I
y'all.
mean,
Thanks for hopping on, man.
Speaking on
See y'all.
TVs and speaking on TVs and garages, when I was up in Illinois about a month ago, we were watching you when I was with Farron and Ace and all them working on a Triumph. Had the garage in there.
Bjorn over here, I think he's got his mic cut at the moment. He's got a Triumph that it's an older one that he's
I need
getting running
Triumphs.
again. What? You tell us what you got.
72 Triumph. Got it from my dad. Been sitting for about 10, maybe 20 years.
Is it the
brother,
Triumph?
you're in the
Trophy?
right spot.
You still there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a 72 Triumph. That is cool. So I got some tires here to choose from, and that is awesome. I'll put you down, and I have a new site to go to, so that is great.
Well,
Thank you so much for
ultimately,
that.
at the end of the day, I'm not telling you what to do, but I can vouch for what I have experienced with the Shinko in particular. And in my opinion, it's a hell of a good value because you're buying into it a whole lot cheaper and you're getting similar, if not better performance than a lot of the big name stuff that's out there in the market right now. It's kind of a sleeper in how well it performs and how long the thing lasts.
Right. I mean, I ride. Well, honestly, most of us, none of us are doing the speed limit. You know, realistically, you're on a motorcycle. You're on two wheels. You want to, vroom vroom. Let's go. And it's when you're doing the speed limit, you feel like you're crawling. You know. So we're moving, and
I always
If
obey
I-
both safety and speed limit laws. Scout's honor.
The plus the Terra has is their speed limits are higher in Texas.
Yeah,
Even
this
on the
Well-
back roads.
yeah, we go up to 80 and 85. There's only one road that goes up to 85. But usually if you're moving with the flow of traffic, they don't bother you, and the flow of traffic in a 70 or a 75 is usually around 85, 90 miles an hour. Or if you watch me
Yeah.
when I'm going to work where I've got to go around that one construction zone, that's a 40 mile an hour construction zone. And you better get it up there like 80, 90 mile an hour just to get out in front of the traffic that's doing 75 and a 40 so that you can slow down and you can make the U-turn and come back the other way. Because they will run you flat over.
Yeah, yeah. 275 going from St. Pete over to Tampa, especially in the mornings. On the morning commute, that's Thunderdome. Okay, I mean that's full on Thunderdome. One of these days, I swear to God, I'm going to come across Tina Turner standing off the side of the road.
Oh, am I welcoming to Orlando? The first time I went down there, off of OBT, there's this old truck stop. I don't think they ever empty the dumpster. I think the hurricanes blew it clean. If you digged in the bottom, you could probably find a newspaper from like the moon landing. And there's craters and stuff in there. And there was like this 400-pound woman standing in the middle of the road in nothing but a moo-moo. And she picked up that moo-moo over her head and shook everything she had at me. And I'm like, Welcome to Orlando. Okay.
Sorry about
That's Orange Blossom Trail for you.
Yeah.
I've seen the weird shit out there.
Oh yeah. So Ava.
When we
Yeah.
were
This.
down in Florida, and we were driving around looking at houses and stuff. A lot of the neighborhoods around here, they've got these decorative mailboxes where it's got like a manatee or a dolphin, and the mailbox is molded into it. And the dolphins were unique because it literally looks like a dolphin balancing a mailbox on his schlong, rearing up on the side of the road. And
I think
I couldn't. But
I'm sitting
yeah.
here. I was looking for my mouse and stuff there. I'm getting used to. I haven't had the 2-screen thing going on for very long, so it's like I'm looking at one thing and I'm moving the mouse on the wrong thing. I have to get the mouse to go over. I've never had a job where I really needed a computer for like anything. So, let me see. I was checking the chat over here. And the chat, if I'm not keeping up with the chat over there, I'm trying to keep up with everything else. I haven't really had this many people in a live chat, so
Yeah, it's
please
usually
excuse
just
me.
and you doing. It's usually just me and you, sis, doing testing.
Yeah, doing testing, trying to figure out how to do all of this stuff, because I mean, internet really didn't become a thing until I was out working for a living. You know? So, I was born in the 70s, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. How long have we been on? Yeah, this is getting pretty close to an hour, which is about where I find I start running out of gas when I do chats.
It's all
So
good.
I think that's what I'm going to keep it to. You gave me the information pretty much that I needed, but the tires I was trying to choose between were literally the ME 888 and the Rain Dragon something. I've actually got brain damage. Yeah, the Night Dragon. I have problems with words, like it's specifically nouns and stuff. Anomic aphasia is what my doctor was talking about because I've literally had too many hits on the head. So if I'm struggling with something, that's what that's from.
It's all cool. We're here on your time. You take all the time you need.
Yeah, and I had to work today too. I had to run a box out to the landfill, dump it in a solidification pit. I'm waiting for my superpowers. I've been covered in so many chemicals, like the comic books.
I'm
Yeah,
waiting on
yeah.
to figure out some cloning shit because I need one.
Yeah, but that and the Night Dragon were the ones I was thinking of. My mouse is on the wrong thing. Yeah, this one, Night Dragon.
I will say this about the Night Dragon. So far, since I've had my bike, even though the front tire's separating in the tread, like I said, the rear tire, what little bit of time I can ride my bike, the rear tire is holding up exceptionally well. I don't get out there and hooligan and ride and burnouts and stuff like that. And there's 6,700 miles on that rear tire now, and it's still probably well more than 50% tread. Probably 60-70% tread if I had to be honest.
I don't do burnouts and stuff like that. Because unless you're at a track or something, it's a waste of tread, and I have to pay for my shit. So
we got pretty much similar riding styles, I think, because we get out there when we go, we're going. We got a destination to make.
Well, and see, also down here, Buck, our road surface down here is a lot different than other places of the country because they use a lot of dredge silt and stuff like that whenever they mix in with the concrete. So the pavement around here is in a lot of places a lot more abrasive than what you find, like in Texas or, in the Midwest, anything like that.
Right. And most of my riding is not really around town. When I'm riding to the mountains and back.
Yeah.
Most of my riding is FM roads, county roads, stuff like that, and I hardly ever get up on the interstate. But where I'm at, I don't really need to. If I'm going to the interstate, I'm going somewhere and I'm coming right back, and I'm not going to have to go far down an interstate. I live, kind of. It's Amy calls it country. I don't call it country. It's like a subdivision on the edge of a small town. So it's.
Now, on the bike I had previous to my Cheap engine, that was a 2005 Shadow Arrow, and I put the the Commander 2s on it, and they held up really, really well for the
Cool.
price. And they're
Alright.
comparably weighted bikes. I mean, they're a little bit difference in wheelbase, but
Well, with my big ass on my bike, we're talking, that's got to be like 1,000 pounds of me and bike. So I need good tires on it. I'm going to check out those Shinkos. Because also, I'm what you call Harley broke, or what I call Harley broke. Which means I have a Harley. I don't have money because I have a Harley.
Yeah.
Well, I'm the dumbass that bought 2 Harleys. I've got a Fat Bob and I've got a Lowrider. And the Fat Bob with the stock bars on them, if you turn them down about 15 degrees, it is actually really good on the track. And the wide tires, once you get used to them, you tip that thing in just like anything else. But the tread on those aren't off-road tread, but they actually do pretty good on dirt roads and stuff. So I'm more likely to take that one to work. That's not a knobby. People are like, oh, it's got knobby. No, it's not a knobby, but it does do pretty good on dirt roads and gravel and that sort of thing. And I might keep that tire on the Fat Bob, but I haven't wore those down as far yet. The Lowrider, and part of that's because I took a couple of trips on it, probably adding the extra weight and everything else, and riding at a high rate of fuel consumption down the interstate. And
Well, another thing, Tara, let me ask you this: what kind of tire pressures are you running in your tires? Are you running just what it says on the sidewall or on the book?
I can't remember what the actual number is. I just actually checked that. What was it? It's not the one on the sidewall. It's the one in the book.
In your book, okay.
Yeah.
Now, what that is that's the pressure that Harley recommends for that tire that they spec'd for that bike when they designed the bike and when they built it. Now, unless you put the exact same tire back on the bike, that air pressure number kind of goes out the window. And what I tell people to do, and this is what I've done for years, and it works really well for me, and it may be part of why I'm getting good mileage out of these things, but I'll pick a ballpark pressure, like say 36 for the front tire, 38 for the rear tire. Start out with that when it's cold, and I'll have the bike loaded down like I normally have it loaded down. In my case, I got a ton of shit that I can drag around with me all the time, and I ride it how I normally ride for about 45 minutes to an hour, and then I stick a tire gauge on them after an hour or so, and I gauge them when they're hot whenever I've been riding them. And what I'm looking for is I'm looking to see that tire pressure grow about 2 to 2.5 pounds of pressure from my starting pressure when they're cold to when they're up to temp and the tire's hot, so to speak. And that'll tell you a lot about how a tire is behaving on a bike, because if you see that pressure grow 3 pounds or more, what that's telling you is the tire is slightly overheating because it's flexing more than it needs to, because it doesn't have quite enough air pressure in it to support it. So the tire is trying to run a little on the hot side of things, and that will lead to a tire that wears somewhat quicker, and also it's going to feel a little mushy because the tire pressure's down. Now on the flip side, if you gauge it when it's hot and you don't see it grow at least 2 pounds, that's telling you that the tire is overinflated and it's not flexing enough to come up into its temperature zone where that tire wants to work at. And the ride will be a little rougher, and you'll wear the center out of the tire quicker because the tire's overinflated. And you may need to experiment with it a couple times before you get dialed in on what pressure those tires are wanting on your bike. But once you get that figured out and you stay with that, not only will you notice a good solid handling tire, you'll notice you're getting more mileage out of them too, because you're right there in that sweet spot where that tire wants to work on your bike for you, how you want to ride it.
Truth. Nobody does that but us nerds.
Now,
Well, on a truck, like when I had my own truck and trailer, and I was fanatical about my tire pressure because I had thousands and thousands of dollars in tires. And there'd be a difference in tire pressure, just whether the sun was shining on one side of the truck to the other. So I'd try to check it right before the sun came up when everything was nice and cool, and it was nice and even. But you're running down the road like you got a set of duals or something, and you have one, say you've got, you're running 101 tire, and you've got 65 in the other tire. What's going to happen is it puts all that weight on the one that's got 100, and it's going to blow that one that has 100, because it just starts heating it up. So it's, I'm a truck driver, so I end up thinking of things in those terms. So I was checking my Rumble over here. Hopefully that's been playing over there. If I've missed anybody over on Rumble, I've been paying attention to the chat, so thank y'all over there for watching too. But I want to thank everybody for showing up, and Joe, thank you so much. You are a wealth of information. You are awesome, and I am going to check those Shinkos out. Huh?
I'm just me. I mean, come on.
Like I said before, if I talk to you too long, my accent starts coming back. So it's
From the outside here. I mean, come on, let's be real about this.
You know right where I grew up, so.
Well, ooh. The
What?
wife unit just snapped on her phone here in the garage, and it didn't sound good.
Ouch.
All right.
Yeah. But
Sorry, Tara.
anyway, Tara, I want to apologize to you. I feel like I owe you an apology. I wasn't thinking about giving you a heads up that Shelby was going to sit in on this with us and everything, because he come over to hang out. The wife unit decided that she was going to feed him because he's real skinny and he can hide behind a 2x4 right now, and she's trying to fix that. But anyway.
Oh, that's cool.
I
Glad we
resemble
could
that
help you
remark.
We all like
Yeah.
bikes, and we're talking motorcycle tires, and you gave me some very good information, which is what I was wanting to do, is kind of bounce some things off some friends, and hopefully people that know, a little bit more than I. There's always somebody who knows more than you on everything, and I was looking for a picture I was going to show you. If I find it, I'll show you, because I know I took a picture last time I did it. If I have to take my tools to work, I'll take the Fat Bob, because I got a big toolbox. I'll put my tools on the back, because I still work on things. I went to school to be a diesel mechanic. So if things slow down, he'll have me working on anything from a pump to a truck or what have you. And usually if we're taking runs, like running, a few trucks up to Michigan or North Dakota, I'll have my tools and stuff with me. If something breaks down, I can fix it instead of getting robbed on the road. But I'll have that strapped to the back of the motorcycle, and I'll take that with me. But thank all of you for showing up.
Sure thing.
I'm a little awkward with all this. Usually when I'm doing a chat, I'm messing around with guitar and I'm talking to people and that sort of thing. So hopefully I can do some more of these. If y'all like it, please leave a message in the comments. Leave a like if you haven't left a like. If this is your first time watching my channel, please subscribe. And I did get over 500 subs finally today. And
Congrats.
to all of you, thank you. Now, if I could get about 2,000 more hours of watch time, I'll be monetized. I don't know how much good that. I'm monetized on Rumble, but you can't pull the money out until you get like $50 in there. And at this rate, it'll be like July of 2043 before I get that, because it's like 5 cents I'm making a video. And but thank you so much, everyone, for showing up. And I want to thank Bjorn and Buck and Joe. And Honda's not on here because he had to go take care of his kids. And I do want to thank you too, Honda, and of course Corey.
And we had a couple of donators to the raffle too. So appreciate that.
That is awesome. Yeah,
And hopefully we can see Joe get his hands on the bike and do some video with it between now and
I don't know where Corey went. They've been hunting Bigfoot up there in northeast Texas, and he might have had some problems with them. If you knew Corey, you'd know what I'm talking about. He's actually, there's a chance me and him might be related. We've got family from the same county, and I'm the runt in my family.
I'm sure.
But he's a big dude, so he'll get the joke. But anyways, thank y'all so much, and
Hey,
Thank you.
yeah, and wife unit, thank you too, and you, Shelby.
I'll say
hey,
this.
Derek,
I
you got any
want
questions later on? You know how to find me. Just give me a shout, okay? I'll help you out however I can, okay?
Okay, I'll shoot you a message. Y'all are awesome, and I'm gonna have to go over here and hit this little red button, or I will talk forever. So,
All good.
thank
I do
y'all.
the same thing. This is guilty.
let's keep Dave and Cindy in our prayers.
Actually, before I end this stream, I'll let Buck go on with that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say before we end it, let's keep Dave and Cindy in our prayers for them going down earlier today, and I know that we're gonna keep them in our thoughts and prayers and do what we can to
Yeah, I'm waiting to
be
hear
there
some
and
updates
support
from
them.
that.
Yeah, it's,
Yep.
it's
If
All right,
you
guys.
want to know,
I love y'all.
I'll catch y'all later.
Okay.
Bye now.